Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we are going to talk about where will Dungeons & Dragons take us. The one thing that's the reason I love Dungeons & Dragons, the reason I'm switching over is Dungeons & Dragons just doesn't operate like any tabletop role-playing game in the world, and it's new super engine. It's new NOS, nitrous oxide. The thing that makes it just surge forward is its connection to Hollywood, right? So Dungeons & Dragons now has two major American blockbuster attempts, and both have failed. However, we're in a different day now, right? In the 2000s, if your blockbuster failed, everybody just moved on, right? But the reality is nowadays, if you have any kind of success, all you need to do is find an engaged billionaire, right? Like, all we really need is $250 million to get the next Dungeons & Dragons movie, and one person that still thinks, one billionaire that thinks that Dungeons & Dragons still has some juice in it, right? From a multimedia mass appeal perspective, right? And the reality is there's over 1,000 billionaires in the world, so you just need one of them, right? And so how do you arrive there? So let's talk about it. So Dungeons & Dragons, let's look at the connections, right? So Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, Sophia Lillis was Doric, and she was the tiefling druid in that film, right? You know where Sophia Lillis is right now? She's in Asteroid City. What is Asteroid City? Asteroid City is the movie of Wes Anderson. Now, who is Wes Anderson today? What was he a little while ago? Actually, Wes Anderson was one of the most exciting directors ever a little while ago. I agree with what Fish Jelly said about Wes Anderson today. Poor writing and fussy narratives. I think Wes Anderson is not making good movies today. And the reason why is Wes Anderson has become famous for a specific visual style in films. And when it comes to visual style, Wes Anderson is unmatched, right? Adrian Brody, the brothers. There's that guy whose nose looks terrible nowadays. He has a whole cast. Jason Schwartzman. So Wes Anderson, he really is one of the most distinctive visual directors in the world today. And when you see one of his movies, you know it's a Wes Anderson film, right? But the reality is he reached so much success that he's no longer being edited. He's not taking notes, right? And so he's just turning out junk, right? But the reality is Wes Anderson is so famous from his old work, which is iconic, right, that everybody shows up to be in his films so they can be attached to his legacy. He's not making good material now, but he has a legacy of high art, right? So look at who's in Asteroid City. Tom Hanks is in Asteroid City. Scarlett Johansson is in Asteroid City. Jason Schwartzman is in Asteroid City. And huge Hollywood stars. There is a massive amount of major, I'm not a small number of cameos and not small stars. Huge celebrities are in Wes Anderson's Asteroid City. And Sophia Lillis is right there talking to Tom Hanks, talking to Scarlett Johansson, and in position to wrangle up that one billionaire we need, right? Just one, Silicon Wonk, one prince, from some foreign, some international source, right? We just need one engaged billionaire. And the people who did the Dungeons & Dragons movie, Daly and Goldstein, right? Renee Jean Page, a lot of these people are continuing on with their careers, and there's Dungeons & Dragons just sitting there, right? An intellectual property ready to have its next stage. And in the old days, you're right, this would have been off the board. They were like, hey, this movie didn't make any money, let's forget it. But now everything's failing. Disney is melting, right? There are massive problems with streamers. There are massive problems with movie studios. And if you even have marginal success, it's a better time than ever to get a second chance. So I think that Sophia Lillis being in Asteroid City is a really critical event to help us get the next Dungeons & Dragons to get the Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves sequel. There's a distinct possibility that Sophia Lillis' time in Wes Anderson's Asteroid City is a catalyst, a spark that may give us our Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves sequel. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.